Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Arte Fact Production Podcast. A very late but not any less important update. I'm Joey.
I'm Catalina. And there's no Miles.
Oh no, his throat is stripped.
Yeah, it's all stripped up. I got a text message from Miles and he was like, Angie, I took airborne. He was like, I am awake. Because sometimes he's not awake. He was like, I am awake. But I don't think I can do the podcast because I think I'm getting strep throat.
Oh.
And I was like, out of anybody, I think I trust you to know if you're getting strep throat. Because I didn't realize this, but his sister used to get strep throat a lot when she was a kid. And they used to think she was a carrier for it, which I didn't know was a real thing.
Carrier?
A carrier for strep throat. I have no idea what that is. So, Miles, we really hope you feel better.
Yes, we do.
And... yeah, so this week's been kind of crazy. I was out of town until yesterday, Wednesday, and there have been other things like the family like emergency surgery and things like that happened. So there's been a delay, but obviously for good reason. And then now poor Miles is sick. So
yeah, kind of changed our plans, even though we had planned ahead. We're like, okay, we know all this stuff's going to happen, but still didn't work out exactly the way we wanted. So. You were out of town. Where'd you go?
I went to sunny Cancun, Mexico. It's been a long time since I've been to Mexico, and it was really nice. The pretty white sands and nice blue waters. It was really nice. And I picked up some shells because I was like, oh, that's pretty. I like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Are you going to make a puka shell necklace?
I don't have enough, but yeah. Yeah. And I think puka shells have to be puka shells.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these were not puka shells, but it was wonderful seeing everybody and spending time with family down there. And I had look, they had really great Wi-Fi for it being such a great resort, but I was like, I can't do any work down here, which probably was for the best because that's all I've been doing is like looking at the scripts and, all that good stuff. So thank you to everyone for understanding. Yeah, we've just kind of had like the family issue and then me being out of town and now Miles being sick. So it's been a little bit of a week, but we made it.
Yeah, we made it through. So before we get any further into it, let's not forget to tell people where they can find us. You can go to Arte Fact Production Podcast. You can go to artefactproduction.com. That's ARTEFACT production.com. And that will take you to, if you do productions, it takes you to a French site. So don't go to that one. We're the one with the animated show. So it's production singular. That's kind of our home base. That's where you can find pretty much everything that we release. And
to find us on iTunes, because again, we are now available on iTunes for download. You can search for Arte Fact Production, and that's ARTE space FACT space production. You can find us on Twitter at artifact_media, SoundCloud, Twitter, and
YouTube.
Instagram. And YouTube and Instagram is all Arte Fact Production. So, sorry guys, it's a little bit early. We're trying to kind of navigate this.
Yeah, but don't forget, also on YouTube, that Arte Fact Production is 3 words, not 2.
And subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe, hit that like button, all that junk.
That call for action was kind of crazy just now, but yeah. So, yeah, subscribe, follow, share, support us.
Yeah.
So, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the script. So, Joey, the idea of the crew, as a creator of it, because you kind of had this idea to begin with, whenever we first started talking about it, I remember like over a year ago, it was something that I would just kind of gradually kind of check in, or just every once in a while, or maybe you'd show me, and there were pictures of them, and I know you kind of covered it in your blog and your post about like it's not the year that was kind of like my mantra and things like that. But whenever we began writing this script, which took a while in developing these characters, did you ever have any difficulty in that kind of like the difficulty that I had? Because yours was, obviously you're naturally gifted with drawing and animating and things like that, but was this really your first time to try and tell a story from beginning to end? Because I know you've worked on other projects, kind of like my ex.
Sure, there are other projects I've worked on the story and stuff like that for, but this was really something that just seemed kind of light and fun. I've always put it as I'm more of a big picture person. I have the ability to lay out large schemes and large ideas and plot points Like if I'm painting with a brush, it's a big brush, whereas like Miles writes in a very interesting way, which is very minute and like minutia, but he can lay words on a page.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I've always worked. But just in terms of creation, the way that it came about was just getting ideas for characters and just wanting to do something fun.
I remember the very first time when we started kind of trying to write it, because you had the script. And okay, truth be told, guys, neither Joey nor I know how to write a script. And that's where Miles's education and his background really comes in handy, because I can tell you that script would be a nightmare. Even if all the words were perfect, the formatting would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
If Miles didn't do it, because clearly that's a talent that he possesses. And like the first couple times when we started kind of writing it, we went in a lot of like crazy kind of directions. I remember even the whole like the lights going out because they were so poor, and like Maddie arrives right, like, and then the lights go out. He was like, "You arrived just in time," or like, "You got here just in time."
Yeah,
you remember that? I remember us laughing downstairs about that. Be like, "That's so great! I love that."
Yeah, it's interesting seeing the solidified intro that we have now compared to, or even the rest of the script that we have now compared to what we started off with, but. It's not to say those are bad ideas. They just they weren't the best idea for the scene.
Yeah, and that's kind of something that we've discovered along the way is something may work, but it's not right. And that is very true in the writing process with Miles and I. But I remember it specifically with the character of Dane, because we had a character in his place before that. And we liked him. We feel like he works, but not now.
Yeah.
You know, and we were like trying to find that other piece. Mo came pretty quickly.
Yeah, once Mo was solidified. The something about writing scripts is you always want to get into a scene as late as possible and out of a scene as soon as possible. And each scene has to have a purpose to drive the story forward. So if you're ever writing something and it doesn't feel right, it's probably one of those three things. You either got in too early and you're spending too much time there, or you're spending too much time there after you got in at the right point, or it's just not driving the story forward. And all three of those things we had to build on top of and add comedy. So it's like everything has to work absolutely together to build the perfect script.
It has to be harmonious. All of it has to work. And I think that there has to be good marriage between the visual and the written. And it really feels like there is. It really, really feels like there is. Okay, I was talking to Miles last night, and I apologized to him, and I acknowledged, I was like, you know, like, whenever you come over and we write and stuff like that, I say I love you at the door and that you've done a really, you know, I love you and thanks so much. I was like, but I never realized I never acknowledged, like, your work, so thank you so much for the work that you do, because if it weren't for you, we wouldn't have words on this page. Because we can, he will type and he will write pages, and then we go in and fine tune. We really go in and fine tune it. We talk about what needs to happen, and then he'll produce something. So again, thank you very much, Miles, for that. That is something that only you can do, and you have driven us forward. All of that leads to the progress that I now see as our talents have started getting better and stronger. I will tell you all that those first 15 minutes took a long time to write, because not only were we having to establish a universe and characters and rules and the dynamic of this team. Well, I mean, you know, you loosely apply the word team, but of these people that are now like trying to work together and pull in the same direction, which doesn't work. But in this process of writing, I realize how much better we have gotten at this too, which is very encouraging to anyone who wants to pursue anything. Just put in time and it will work. Be very, very diligent in the work that you do. Have a critical eye, because I can tell you, when Miles and I write now, it is much closer to the final version, the final product, than it was even 3-4 months ago.
Yeah.
We are much closer even where we start versus where we did before, which is a really nice thing.
Yeah, I mean, y'all are able to get out like 5 pages and maybe, or let's say not even 5 pages. Let's not do a number. Y'all are able to do the equivalent of what we wrote in like a year in weeks.
Yeah, and that was, and I wouldn't say that we didn't try before, but it's just that we didn't really know yet. We didn't know where it was going. Like, we didn't know who these characters were. And thankfully, because of Miles joining us, we've been able to solidify that and who these characters
Plus establishing rules for the world, getting more familiar with the characters and what they look like, all that stuff.
Yeah.
All that stuff helps with it.
And something that I think we're going to try and do in an effort to expedite this process, because we only have one person animating. That is something that only Joey can do. Miles and I can't. We've seen very clearly that Miles can't draw. No, I'm just playing. Miles, good job.
Yeah.
Is we would like to work with animators. And so I guess this is kind of like, I don't want to say a casting call because we're not casting you, but if you all know anyone that can animate in...
Well, these are the software programs that we're using right now. We're using Manga Studio EX5 and the Adobe Creative Cloud. Really, though, in that we're only using After Effects. So if anyone is interested in helping out with the animation, please send us an email to
afgeneral@artefactproduction.com. That's AFGENERAL @artefactproduction.com. You'll be talking to me, Catalina, and we can talk because we would really like more animators, again, in an effort to expedite this process, but to also give people the opportunity to work on something like this, because I mean, I guess ideally we would love to be able to work with these people throughout the entire show. And we know how many seasons it's going to go. I don't know that you all know that either, is that we know that this show will have a beginning and an end. This isn't a show that's just going to run indefinitely like some other animated shows. We are telling a story from beginning to end. And we want to work with people that enjoy this, that want to be, creative and really love the crew as much as we do. And again, we would like to be able to work with these people after we get funded and then bring them on.
Yeah.
Like we would with the other people that we work with, like their casts and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And another note, there are different positions. I mean, you can do compositing in After Effects. If you can't draw, that's fine. That doesn't mean that you have to have like everything that I have, which is like a Cintiq and like Manga Studio EX5 and After Effects and every plugin that I have. Really, we're just looking for people to help out. So if you're looking at getting involved and you're afraid that your skills aren't up to par or something like that, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and send over your work and stuff like that, and we'll talk to you. We'll see what you've got.
Absolutely. There have been people that have offered some help and some work in the past, and I'm going to reach out to them because we've only kind of come to this decision here recently, and then, I went off on my trip and surgery and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll be reaching out to them again because, I got an email out of the blue like, hey, can I help? I do like 3D modeling, and I'd like to work more in 2D. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, these are hands that are willing to serve. They want to work. They want to have this experience and probably put this on like a resume or something like that. Or hopefully they want to work with us, which I would like to do too. I want to work with people that are creative and that want to join the crew. And that's not just the characters that we have, but that's us too. Like, we are the crew.
Right.
We're the people that help bring this to life. And so if you would like to, or if you know someone that either has the ability or the talent, send them our way. Seriously, send them our way. We want to work with these people.
Yeah, so I would say if you have a demo reel or if they have a demo reel, if they are interested in 2D animation and illustration, even 3D would be okay, but we don't really know how we would roll that into the pipeline just yet. However, that is something we're open to hearing about and stuff like that. So,
especially though, guys, someone who has really great color theory, knows color theory, a colorist, because I can tell you, color, while we appreciate it, is not necessarily something that we fully.
Yeah,
I guess.
I mean, I can color. I mean, I can draw and composite and stuff like that. But it does take a longer time, just because color isn't my forte. I work in black and white. So, if you have a background in color theory, also, I mean, here's the thing, guys. There's really a limitless number of positions and stuff like that for any type of art role. It's just the more capable and more skills you have, the more we can give to you. So if we can only give you one thing, we'll be happy to give you that one thing. It's just that's what we'll focus on.
Yep. And I think maybe soon. Well, I don't want to say that just yet.
Okay.
So yeah, whenever you send us your email, be sure to title the subject artist application, and then you can put dash.
And I would say after the dash, you could put 2D illustrator if you're interested in animation, color theory or colorist if you're interested in doing color, layout artist, backgrounds. Those are would be very helpful. Compositor, motion graphic artist, stuff like that. So, or even After Effects artist, stuff like that. So that way, we can easily identify what skill set you're applying for or what skill set you want to move into.
And just so you all know, guys, like you don't have to do this professionally. You can do this as a passion, animation, all that good stuff. So you can be a student. It doesn't matter because it's all experience. Mm-hmm. It's all experience. It's all an opportunity. That's really what this is an opportunity, just like everything else. So again, if you know someone, if you're interested, contact us, afgeneral@artifactproduction.com.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So is there anything else?
Thank you guys so much for being so patient with us. It has been a very crazy week and some unexpected things have come up. We are working very hard. Joey is working very hard. We're all working very hard to move this forward. Yeah. All of us are.
Yeah, we all are. So that's it for this week. We just want to thank everyone for not this sleepy time podcast, but really more of a straightforward one. Mm-hmm. We take it very seriously this week. But thank you very much for your patience, and thank you very much for your understanding. And Catalina's tan attests to that. Thank you very much for...
Thank you, God, for Mexico and the beautiful creation there.
Yeah.
And Miles, hey, we really hope you feel better and that you don't have strep, because then I can't write with you, bro. I need to be able to sit down and write with you.
Yeah, you're all contagious right now. Ew. You're strepped up. And one more time before we go, remember artifactproduction.com. That's ARTEFACT production.com. That's our homepage for everything.
iTunes, Artifact Production. SoundCloud, Artifact Production. YouTube, Artifact Production. Insta, Artifact Production. And then the one exception is Twitter. Artifact Production.
Artifact_media.
Right. Artifact_media.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get updates for whenever we do our live stream. Mm-hmm. And that's it for this week.
That is it. So
I'm Joey.
I'm Catalina. There's no Miles.
Y'all stripped up, bro. You got Grant bagged.
Grant bag. That's good.
Later, Miles.
Bye, guys.